Good evening, folks. This is Dark Sage Walker, and I suppose it's time, isn't it? I've been hinting for a while that there's been a topic that's been seething in my brain, and, well, I think the time has come to actually do something about that. Instead of just hinting at it, maybe it's time we actually sat down and talked. But first, I need to determine a goal for myself. Now, where in the world do I want to go? Which character do I want to take where? Well, probably the most logical choice would be either Light Path Judas or Dark Path Eve. I think, because I've barely touched Eve, we're doing Dark Path Eve. Okay. Oh, hey, I wish I had a bomb. Castlevania 2 reference, anyone? Now, this isn't what I wanted to talk about, but incidentally, Castlevania 2 I think gets a little bit too much hate. I will admit that it's not a great game, but it's a game I have a lot of respect for trying some things, admittedly failing, but oops, actually you know what, that gives me a chance to use higher damage on the boss. Not that it's a boss that requires higher damage, mind you. It's the friggin' Widow. But, made things nice and easy. Well, if I wanted to try to unlock the Forgotten again, but trust me, I don't. Alright, so, what is this topic that's been burning in the back of my brain? Enough so that I've hinted at it for, what, 3 videos now? Well, recently, a new entry to a franchise that I love came out. And that franchise... Oh, hello. I am not against having that at all. Bomberman, here we go. And now I do have bombs, so goodbye, beggar. I hope that's worth something. Kind of. Gives me a chance to use higher damage again later on down the road, but I'm not sure how valuable that is right now. But the newest entry to the Mortal Kombat franchise just came out, and I was especially interested since they're releasing it on the Switch as well, which I figured wasn't going to happen, but hey, I'm not going to complain. The idea that they're wanting to release it on slightly different hardware was not the issue for me. Matter of fact, I thought it's a pretty good business move considering that a lot of people just want everything on the Switch. Why? Because the Switch is portable. It's... hello. Like, I'm not sure I necessarily want that, but it's nice. You don't normally put the Ankh just randomly sitting out on the floor. Like, here, have a free respawn, courtesy of us, on the house! It's like, well, that's nice, but I'm trying to get Eve accomplishments done? So, transforming into Blue Baby, who has almost the entire post-it note done, doesn't seem like it's gonna help. But, I appreciate the thought, and were this just a regular run, I might consider it, but I'm trying to get things done here. So, Mortal Kombat 11 was released on April 23rd, and it was released to a pretty resounding Now, I will give credit where credit is due. I think this is our secret. Beautiful. The game, in and of itself, has a wonderful look, and all the reviews have said that the actual fighting itself is fine. I don't have an issue with that part, even though I have also heard conflicting reports saying that the game is a little buggy and hard to get to work right sometimes. Okay, fine, whatever. No game is perfect. Every game has issues. That's not necessarily where I... Whoa, I hate this room. that's not necessarily where I take issue. Where I take issue is that there's an undercurrent of things going on in the game that have less to do with the game and more to do with, well, you know what, I'll just get into it. So there's a number of things wrong with Mortal Kombat 11 that, to me, completely kill the experience, and I need a key. That is just a shame. Okay, well. So I will be back after I find a key, if I find a key. So, what are those issues, you might be asking? Some of you may already know, and that's good. I appreciate it when people are in the know, but I don't expect everyone to truly understand, or even to get why it's so upsetting for people like me who have been following the series since, you know, it first came out in the early 90s. I can't possibly expect that everyone's got the same feelings as I do, or even the same memories. But let's start by going over a little bit of series history. Mortal Kombat is a series that came out almost not necessarily counter to, but around the same time as Street Fighter. There. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to preserve. And I got my bomb back, so this room is important. Matter of fact, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think I might hate this room. But it was released to a whole lot of praise for being uncompromising in what it was trying to do. I might as well just build some boss. And yeah, it was indeed a fighting game, but very similarly to Street Fighter 2 in all of its glory. It was a game that went for what it did with an unflinching desire to go over the top, and it did so in just about every way. Over the top characters, over the top environments, over the top finishing moves, which is ultimately what landed Mortal Kombat on the map. Matter of fact, the game's fatality system actually was one of the driving reasons for the formation of the ESRB. Not that anyone is necessarily in favor of the ESRB, but I mean they serve a function. They do a job, and I would argue that they do it well enough. Well, I mean, I can probably leave this floor pretty comfortable in the knowledge that I might not need that suit. I probably don't need that item room. I found everything I needed. So we're going to be leaving this floor with almost 13 damage and an 8 rate of fire, and pretty comfortable looking health. You know what? I'm satisfied, so let's move on. Now, it's a series that in no way is any stranger to controversy. Like I said, just being more or less responsible for the formation of the ESRB should say everything I need to say. That was a waste. And since then, the series has made a name for itself by being very uncompromising in its goals. It's a game that knew what it wanted to be from the outset. It's got over-the-top fighting techniques. It's got gods. It's got dragons. It is just a crazy. Whoa, come back here. It's just a crazy-ass fighting game and a rip-roaring good time. And even if you're not down for the sort of hyper-violent were to be, it still did a good job. The fighting systems were fantastic. The characters were over the top and more to the point, they were characters that... Where'd you come from? They were characters that were sexualized, to be fair, but it wasn't just on one end. It was both male and female characters that were being made beautiful for everyone. The high tide in this case definitely lifted all boats. They were very much against changing any of that. Wow, that was terrible. Why didn't I just why didn't I just try dodging properly instead of trying that, like, fooled ya approach? Alright, looking for the item before I do this. And if I move quickly, I can get boss rush done. I would not mind that, though I would like something that gives me piercing shots. Sagittarius, technology, something along those lines before I do it. But if I have to do it as is, I'm not going to complain. At least it would get done. I can't fly, you jerks. Oh, that was definitely worth it. Soul hearts and a key. Man, considering the lack of keys in this run, I'll take what I can get. But that right there is kind of the sticking point. The over-the-top nature of Mortal Kombat and the sexualization of its characters. Now, I know it's kind of a popular point to hate on anything that sexualizes characters. It's always like, oh, you're objectifying them. You're looking at them as something other than human. Well, no, that's not how sexualization works. Well, it's not great, but I'll take it. And I think we kind of have the idea of sexualization a little twisted, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, before I get into this too far, I'm definitely taking this.
2 of diamonds.
Say blank card is definitely going to be worth more for me than the razor blade at this point. But I mean, in and of itself, that's kind of my point right there. Is that yes, there are sexualized characters in the game, but as said, that goes both directions. You can't tell me that you see people who look like Liu Kang and Johnny Cage every day of your life. And incidentally, you're probably not seeing too many people who look like Mileena or Kitana very often. These are not realistic depictions of just everyday people, but they're not supposed to be.
I'm excited.
I'm actually pissed off that I picked that up now. And in no point were these supposed to be normal everyday people. These are people with otherworldly powers and abnormal strength and speed, going up against each other for the fate of multiple worlds. At what point were we supposed to be thinking, yeah, but they're underdressed? Because I'll tell you, I wasn't. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm just too immature to understand. Or at least that's... hate I'm excited so... God damn it! I'm gonna die strictly to the I'm excited fucking pill.
2 of diamonds.
Okay, well, this run went from looking great to looking spotty. I really don't know what to do to fix that just yet. Of course, as I find a Hierophant card, it won't be too hard to figure out how to do it. Except the game is trying to piss me the fuck off now. Alright, you know, not the first time I've been in a position like this, I'm sure I'll squeeze my way out of it. Wow, I am in such deep shit. And it's all thanks to that I'm excited pill. Alright, let's go back to the shop and see if I can't make something happen now. Right now, that is my best hope. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'll have to... No, you know what? I am going to spend a few more coins to reroll again. Car battery would be nice. Let's see if I can earn the money for it. Either way, this one soul heart puts us back in the game, so let's not squander it. But it was precisely the sexualization of the characters in Mortal Kombat that made them stand out. They were incredible people with incredible traits fighting for incredible causes. I don't think anyone would think less of them for it. I mean, who in their right mind would possibly be so against the way a character looks that they'd want everything changed, right? I mean, that's just silly, right? Right? Apparently not. So, I don't know who at NetherRealm Studios is in charge of things anymore, but apparently one of the biggest sticking points of the game now is that they want to respect women by making sure that all of the female characters were completely covered up. And no, this was not like an accidental thing. This was very much a design choice. I actually don't want that. Moving on. Matter of fact, in a tweet, it was said that the reason given for that is that in a fight for your life, you wouldn't go in wearing a bikini, which, you know, first of all, way to take the most hyperbolic direction at that point. We're not necessarily saying bikini, but okay, fair enough. So let's take that and run with it. You wouldn't go into a fight for your life wearing a bikini. Well, a couple of points on that. First of all, I'd like to know... this could be useful. Blank Cardiera is a great combination. The moment I find a soul heart, I'll make that work. Or, you know, more money on the road. Hey, I can even go Blank Cardiera on that 2 of diamonds. I hate these enemies so much. Well, that's useful. That's not useful. Okay, this room is quite dangerous. I need to be very careful. So, the reason why I'm bringing that point up, and certainly why I'm bringing it up as a negative, is that the changes that were made almost specifically to the female characters of the game. And actually, almost is a very soft word. It was strictly to the female characters of the game. When they said that they were trying to be more respectful with their character design, and no, they didn't say it was specifically for the women characters of the game. Well, no, they did say it was specifically for the female characters of the game, but they made it sound like it was a universal thing. You know, you're not going to go into a fight wearing a bikini, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Okay, well, on one hand, I can see what you're getting at, but you're also being very dishonest about that. Because if you're going to change the character designs to be more mature and more respectful, you need to do that across the board for both the male and the female characters. And whereas the female characters are all generally completely covered from head to toe, which, no, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. If that's the design you want to go for a character, then, you know, have at it. Who am I to say otherwise? But they also made it very clear that this is being done in an effort to be more respectful, or to put it in more colloquial phrases, to get more woke. Now, is this anything that's being called upon by the fan base? Because that was my first thought. Is there a changing of the tides here? The answer? No, not at all. This is something that was done devoid of what the fans actually wanted. And again, if you have a decent reason for it, that's fine. But by the way, because I have to stop and explore everything in order to try to find an advantage, I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to make boss rush anymore, which is a shame because I'm definitely strong enough to handle boss rush. I just don't have enough health for it. So, it's a shame, but I'm going to have to forego that.
Yera.
Alright. Let's take a chance. Okay, that's looking better. And we're still pretty much out of time for boss rush, but I mean, at least at this point, I have something I can work with now. We can go from there. Still don't have a bomb, though. I find that to be a little disappointing. So, my question is, if you're going to make a big deal about changing the character designs to be more respectful and mature, how come that's a one-way street? How come you're being more respectful and mature to the female characters and not the male characters? And I'd like to... I should have yelled that. And I'd like to point out that... that even if I were to go along with that explanation of, oh, you don't show so much skin in a fight, that's not even entirely true. I get the feeling that the lead designer over at NetherRealm has never seen any professional fighters, or for that matter, an MMA match, which I guess is professional fighters. The fact of the matter is showing a little bit of skin isn't necessarily done just for the sake of sexualization. That's evil page 2. Well, in a case like this, you definitely want to go for the guppy item. And yes, I will take this. It's a pretty well-known fact that when you're in a high-stakes match, you want to wear enough clothing so as to not be found indecent, of course, but not enough that it gives your opponent an advantage by giving them something to grab onto. That's just, you know, basic fighting 101. That's kind of par for the course. But seemingly a lot of that was ignored for their new super ultra woke character designs. You know, and it's not just the character designs that got woke. The characters themselves, for some reason, are now pushing strongly, or at least some of the characters are pushing strongly in their left-leaning philosophies. Namely Jax, who, if you follow the lore of Mortal Kombat, has always been this strong patriotic individual with a strong sense of duty and a willingness to fight for his family. Now all of a sudden, in this game, his ending more or less declares him to be more interested in black, I'm not sure I would call it black power, but definitely in black rights, which, if anyone recalls, that already exists. We already have equal rights. So why are we dealing with a story where he's looking for black rights when it already exists? It just gets more nonsensical the more I think about it. But if you finish his tower climb and get to his ending literally states, and I wish I were making this up because it's so ridiculous, not just for his character, but for the people at NetherRealm to think that this would go without any sort of notice or thought. I'm not waiting centuries for people to get woke. Verbatim. Literally what he says. I hate these masks, I'm on low health. Get away from me. Oh my god, stop. God, I hate these enemies. They're the worst fucking enemies in the game next to those fucking lumps. You know, real quick. Okay, we're back in business now. So what is that statement in reference to? Well, after beating the main character of the tower, a new villain by the name of Chronica, who has the power to control time, which honestly kind of beast power, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. He decides to use that power to go back in time and completely rewrite slavery. Which means we now have an ending where Jax, in his new future, is basically in Mortal Kombat version of Wakanda. You know, I didn't have any problem with Black Panther at first, but now the film is starting to get on my nerves. And it's almost strictly because now everyone thinks that it's just kind of the bog standard norm that we should all want. Not really. It set an interesting precedent, but I don't think that that's what everyone wants. I don't even think that that's what all black people want. Hey, you want to just get real... You want to get real honest about things. The whole... First of all, Wakanda's a fictional location, so I'm not sure why everyone wants to be there. Second of all, the transatlantic slave trade was only possible because of black Africans selling other black Africans into slavery. Are we saying that this is what we're striving for now? And let's be honest, Africa ain't exactly everything it's choked up to be. Let's not fool ourselves into thinking that the Toto song is the reality of Africa. Africa is a very dark and violent place where things did not go in a normal fashion. There's all sorts of issues in Africa, including still real-life slavery. Not just the transatlantic variety. There's still enforced labor over there. There's warlords. There's violence. Just about everything involving the African diamond trade is something that should have been looked at for whether or not this is anything that anyone should be going for. And yet people are saying that his ending is bold and stunning. In its sheer stupidity, yes, but not bold and stunning in the way that a lot of these games journalists are saying. It's just a completely out of touch thing for a character who's traditionally been, you know, anything but worried strictly about himself and and his seeming lack of civil rights, which, as we've already explained, doesn't exist. But it's also just a bad look for the creators and for the creators of the game. This just isn't. I mean, if I can find a way to use infinite batteries, I have them now. But furthermore, why are we starting to get woke in a game that's traditionally been about beautiful people fighting for the sake of the world, using over-the-top powers, ridiculous abilities, fighting moves that not only defy the laws of physics, but more or less go. I should have waited to pick that up. All right, impatience starting to get to me now. I'm stupid. I like it, but I want to hold off on it. Wow, this room again? What? Another battery, so that's nice. Next time I see a soul heart, I think I know what I'm using all these batteries for. Well, a soul heart or something that produces soul hearts. How about that? Okay, we are... Oh my god, are you serious right now? Okay. Yep, I think it would be best if I just waited for this to wear off. I'm already in a bad position. Which means no hush fight either. Yeah, this run is simultaneously great and awful. I don't know if it's entirely because of me, or if the seed is just dictated that every room is a piece of shit. But you know, I wouldn't be having this many problems if I had found a source of piercing shots. Alright, I want to keep exploring around. There's got to be more. There's got to be a source of soul hearts somewhere. Here we go. Now we're sitting pretty.
Yera.
Might as well donate coins so long as I'm here. Oh, sweet.
Yera.
I've duplicated things too much. There. Alright. Now I can just move forward. God, what a frustrating run, having to stop. Even though I'm super powerful, having to move super slow because the game just demands that I take so much damage. By the way, the reason why why I'm blaming it on the game instead of on poor play on my behalf is because a lot of the rooms that have been coming up have been nearly impossible to get out of without taking some damage. I wouldn't be having so many problems if I had either more coverage or piercing shots. And the other item was the Halo. I will take it because it's an all-stats upgrade. You know, as damning as I find that to Jax's character, that's not even the only issue that I found with the wokeness of the game. The other issue that I found, the other issue that there is that there's actually some condemnation of Trump. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. Even though I've said many times I'm not going to get political on this channel, let's reveal a little bit more of my hand. I do not support Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I think he may be single-handedly one of the worst things that's ever come to American politics. But at the same time, he has been kind of used as sort of a social justice shorthand for everything. Screw you. Are you not dead yet? God, I hate these lumps. Them and the friggin' infamy mask both. I hate them so much. Now I have no idea where the enemy is because it can literally go anywhere in the room at a moment's notice. God, I hate those enemies! Anyway. The whole idea behind Orange Man bad, I mean, again, I get it. It's one of the areas where I actually agree with the left. I just don't agree with how far they take their condemnation. He is not just a shorthand for everything that's wrong with the world. Thank you for the damage up. He's a shorthand for everything that's wrong with American politics. That was dumb, I just stood there. He may be a shorthand for everything that's wrong with American politics, but he is not the issue with the world at large. I don't like him, but to try to push a political agenda down my throat by constantly using him as a shorthand for this is everything that's wrong with everything, it gets tiring. And what it really boils down to is I'm just plain sick of the over-politicization of everything. Video games, of television, of movies. Why it's okay to use arguments of segregation against white people, but not against anyone else. Why anyone of any gender or skin color deserves any sort of special treatment. That's not what equality is. It's gotten so overboard, not even borderline ridiculous, just so overly ridiculous that that it defies logic and reason. And what did it this time for me? If you have a match where Shao Kahn is up against a new character called the Collector. I don't want that. I mean, I do, but I'd rather have Yera. Then he actually goes out of his way to say that he appreciates the service that he's done for Outworld, and proceeds to say, "Let's make Outworld great again." Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really serious with this? This is where you want to go with that? I forgot there were spikes in the room. And I also chose the wrong picture, so this run is baseless and without meaning at the moment. Oh well, that's what happens when I get worked up, I guess. I'll probably just do another more calm run after this, you know, just to see to it that that the ledger is set straight. But for now, I'm just going to continue on my point. The politicization of the game is already enough to turn my head and my stomach at the same time. Really, honestly debating whether or not I should go fight Delirium. I think I want to go to the chest first, and if I get offered the chance to fight Delirium there, then I'll go. Oh, I should have multiplied the key. I'm gonna need more keys. Let me just leave that there for now. I'll come back to it. I probably should just go ahead and... No, I don't want the Eternal Heart because I don't want any more red hearts. If the politicization of the game wasn't already enough to make you feel a little unsure about the game, let's now go ahead and talk about the idea of the crypt. Now, the crypt is something that's been in Mortal Kombat games for a little bit now. Modern Mortal Kombat games have it in spades. The crypt was a neat concept at first and a really cool way to gather collectibles, you know, alternate outfits, concept art, things like that. I have no problem with them using the crypt. What I have a problem with is how they're using it in this game. Basically, if you want a good chance at getting all the items in the crypt, you have to either A, spend way too much time grinding for them, or you better be prepared to cough up some money. I think that's enough keys. So basically, in this instance, the crypt is essentially functioning as just a glorified loot box. Nothing here. Basically, either pay for what you want, or prepare to spend hundreds, if not thousands, of hours just grinding up enough of the premium currency in order to unlock these boxes. And it's not like all the boxes have set content anymore. It's pretty random nowadays. So once again, they're going for that digital casino feel. And wow, that was dumb. Okay, so admittedly, part of my troubles on this run are that I'm playing like an idiot. I can openly admit that to myself. I am playing somewhat badly, but it's mostly because I want to get my point across here. Now, we've been promised that in an update to the game, they're going to scale back on the obvious grindiness and predatory nature of the loot boxes. Pardon me. I'll take that. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Go ahead, I'll take it. I'll take sulfuric acid even though it's a tiny damage up. Definitely want my tears to go up. That's awesome. That's awesome. Not awesome, but average. Ball of tar pretty much invalidates invalidates little dish. Alright, I'll come back to earn some, well, to scam some more items in a minute. Let's call it what it is. That is one of the big reasons why I kept the blank card Yara combo, so I could just double things indiscriminately. Tarot card only makes that better. So there's the grindiness, there's the monetization, there's the obvious wokeness that they're not even trying to hide. And they even use the word woke, for fuck's sake. Can you get more ridiculous than that? Okay. So now I have piercing shots. I wish I had that earlier, but what can you do? I mean, aside from complain, which I'm already doing. And fortunately, I had enough shot speed to absorb the 0.4 shot speed hit that I took. That Pisces? Alright. It's gonna go beyond the tier cap, so I'll definitely take it. Ghost Pepper sucks, but I'll take it. Definitely take Scapular. I have no use for my money, so I'll take Bumbo. I did not want Bob's Brain, though. Should have gotten that shit away from me. Don't really care about Fruitcake, honestly, but I mean, I'll probably end up taking it just because it does lead to some fun effects. And now I'll definitely take this. Take Hot Bombs. We'll definitely take Polyphemus. Definitely take Daddy Longlegs. I don't care about Spider-Bug. Alright, now I'll just start doubling other chests as I find them. Whoa! That was a big holy light shot. What in the world? You're dead. Why are you harassing me? Maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe he wasn't dead. Oh well, I can admit when I'm wrong. Thank you, safety scissors. Paper covers rock, bitch. Sorry, it was the safety scissors that made me think of that. So the game is overly politicized. It breaks its lore. It defies its fan base's trust. Is there anything else about the game that could be a problem, you ask? No, the monetization schemes are obvious issues. It ignores obvious issues with reality and how things work. The game, in brief, is a mess. Why NetherRealm Studios thought it would be a good idea to release the game like that? Ugh, I'll never understand. And again, I know the thought process is, oh well, the fighting is good, just leave it alone. And you're right, the fighting may be good, but I would say if even a small portion of the fan base is turned off by some of these decisions, then you're going to be losing money. And it's been well reported that the fan base is very much not in favor of a lot of these decisions. Matter of fact, a lot of these decisions seem to be outright designed to alienate the fan base, which I don't know why NetherRealm Studios thinks that's a good idea, or for that matter, why Warner Brothers is okay with it in the first place. It just screams that everything that was done for the sake of politics first, and a good game second. And it's a damn shame, because like I said, I love Mortal Kombat. I don't like the idea of what Mortal Kombat has become. I don't like the obvious character design double standard. I don't like the monetization schemes. The politics should honestly stay out of all games unless the game is strictly designed with a political story. It all just screams of agenda rather than game design, and I absolutely hate to do this, but Mortal Kombat, NetherRealm Studios, fuck you guys. I'm not buying another one of your products until you start to understand that this is not the way to go about things. You're alienating your fan base, you're alienating the people that put you on the map, that made Mortal Kombat something special, and you're turning against them. This is Battlefield 5 all over again. It's a damn shame. I hate that it's come to that, but that's what it is. So, yeah, sorry Mortal Kombat, but I'm not going to be buying the new one. It could be a great game for all I know, but I think I'll continue playing games that are okay with not being overly politicized and monetized to hell, thank you very much. Anyway, that's what's been on my mind, and I probably could have been more vitriolic about it, but honestly, to me, it's more sad and shameful than it is enraging. I hate to see what Mortal Kombat has become, and honestly, it's kind of a trend with movies and games in general, but I'll save that for another time. I've droned on the title screen long enough. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support. If you want to see more of my content, subscribe to my channel to not miss an upload. Drop a like, leave a comment, it all helps the metrics, but the best thing you can do with my video, as always, is to share it with a friend. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I'll be seeing you.